Hello, today I'm going to be updating you guys on our current position SNPW. First off, as always, any stock video, do at your own risk. This is not financial advice. As always, that's just what we got to say around here. But yeah, we've had some good success with this one so far. It really does depend on when you bought it or if you bought it in general. But SNPW, we bought this thing on February 4th. That's when the video came out. So I think we got it at 11 cents, so right in the between of those. And then it went up a solid over 50%. I think it was 60%. And then it fell down right back to where we started. Right around 12 cents is where we're sitting at now. Now, as for some catalysts that have came up, there has been some negative outlook on the business as a whole, but I think the positives definitely outweigh the negatives. There are some skeptical things that we should take note of, but we do have some nice things that we did get clarification on. So we're going to head over to some things the CEO said, some Joe Biden things, of course, because that was kind of the play around this whole energy play or clean energy play is the Joe Biden presidency. And then a LOI letter we also got. But if you are looking for that M1 Finance code for the 30 free bucks, that ends on the 28th of February, okay? 28th. Then it's going to go back down to like 10. So if you want an M1 Finance account, do that now and get the $30. You have to use someone's link though. If it's not mine, then use someone's or else you're not going to get the 30 free bucks. But yeah, do that. Also, the other links are down there too if you want to support the channel in any way. So with that out of the way, let's get into this, okay? So we've seen the charting system, but let's go into the Twitter account. This is their official Twitter account, 3,000 followers, Sun Pacific Holding Corp. So nothing really matters here except this tweet right here. So this has to do with their recent filing, and they wanted to clarify, we have seen some concerns about SNPW reverse split, and we wanted to confirm the following. We will not be doing a reverse split, and there will be no share dilution. Okay, this is big news. And then we could go through their other tweets, and we love what they see. They're basically giving us a lot of little tad bits of news here, and then they also have a lot of news with their med recycler facility out in Rhode Island. But this is a big deal. If you guys watched the whole video of the original video, we went over the numbers, and this is a big part of them. But you can check that one out. That was called this 11 cent Joe Biden stock or something along that line. I'll leave a link down below. But we talked about the numbers on this one, and med recycler is actually a big portion of that. So if we go to the actual LOI, we could read it from the top. It's a longish, not really long read, but I read it all. And the key things here is they are actually now officially have an intent to approve medical waste treatment facility. So it went through a lot of modifications that they are going to have to explain in court. This is one concern I definitely do have with this one. They had to modify this a lot, but they did end up agreeing to the terms of this. There are some interesting terms, a lot of terms actually, that they had to agree with. So MedRecycle shall comply with all applicable safety, zoning requirements, and local ordinances. If you want to read all this, it's not a fun read, but there are a lot of regulations that they have to follow of all this. Like all of these right here are just testings that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to submit so many things to the Safety Center of Rhode Island. So that's going to be a ongoing battle for sure. But as long as they have the letter intent, they can start returning some profits here with this exact med recycler unit. But with that being said, this hearing will be held on March 15th, and then there will be a 30-day comment period, and that will bring us to April 14th. Now, once April 14th comes along, they have the authority to approve, but they give themselves up to 90 days. So the window is April 14th through July 14th for the full 90 days. So it could be until July 14th before they get approval. So it's a waiting game at this point for this one. But as we know, Sun Pacific, every single one of their companies, every single one of their subsidiaries benefit greatly from renewable energy. And the CEO of Sun Pacific wrote an article here on LinkedIn and just kind of outlined how Biden is planning on getting to zero emissions by 2050. That's complete net zero emissions. So this is an interesting read by him. I'm sure there's better ones as well, but it's interesting that it's actually by the Sun Pacific Holding CEO. So you might already know some of this stuff, but there is a lot of money coming in here. We're just going to key out the main things here. $400 billion over 10 years, and that's in clean energy and innovation, which is precisely what MedRecycler is, and basically any of their companies are. So is the solar panels with the borderless sides. That is a fantastic one. Eco-friendly vehicles, eco-friendly buses. Now they also create bus bus stops with the solar panels on them, and the advertising company. That's another segment of the business that we talked about in the last one. The installment of green energy technology across America. But there's a lot of potential with this entire thing, and I'm sure he's doing this for this exact reason, just to show the potential within the entire industry, how Sun Pacific's really in a great position to capitalize on this and actually make a name for themselves out of the whole industry in general. Well, now, unfortunately, no penny stock would be a penny stock without any uncertainty, and basically no company would be a company without any uncertainty. But the uncertainty here, and this is a local article in Rhode Island. It's just basically outlining the med recycler, and I see this. If this gets denied, this facility right here, a proof of concept, really, it's denied, this thing can flip belly up and fall down real fast. But just the general outline, a relatively untested technology that cooks medical waste to generate electricity is proposed for a local office and warehouse building. The plan to process 70 tons of medical waste from hospitals, laboratories, and doctor offices from across New England 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But we could see everyone wants to say that, it stays within the system and cleans everything. Everything is very clean about this, but some people are concerned about the exhaust, okay? It does have an exhaust filter, exhaust firm. That's why Rhode Island has put all of these restrictions on them to, of course, have to follow all of these, test everything very often, have the right to test it basically every 24 or 40 hours of work time, I believe is the regulation Rhode Island set on them. But as they say at the end of this article here, the Rhode Island facility is a flagship project meant as a springboard to quickly develop its business throughout the USA. That's the hopes with this one for Sun Pacific and Med Recycler, but we have to look at the downsides, and this really is the downsides. If this thing gets rejected, the whole company is going to go down. Even though there's so much potential everywhere else, it's going to go down hard because this still is their proof of concept. Now, moving on to the charts, this is directionally moving on a downward slope here, and the resistance line to watch out for Monday, Tuesday, basically this whole week, is this line of the 10 cents. Now, it's hard to really give technical analysis with penny stocks because most of the time, whenever they're in this catalyst moment, there's not much to the technicals. It's more about, they post a news thing, it goes up 50%. A letter of intent gets rejected, it goes down 100. Okay, just things like that. You can't predict that. You can't predict that kind of things. You can only predict those kinds of things with bigger companies, bigger blue chips. And you already know that since you're in this penny stock video in the first place. But a good resistance that we've found ever since the strong pull up in the later half of January, we've seen a resistance, a few retestments of this 10 to around 12 penny mark. So this is the mark that I am looking out for, and I would recommend that you guys look out for, as if it bounces here, we could see a directional change back upwards, and you can scalp out a good profit of at least 50% if we could see a scalp back up to here. And that's for trading purposes. But if you are trying to invest long term, you are looking for the catalysts. You put this on your watch list, you put those catalysts on the watch list. Now, the second that thing gets approved, this thing is going to skyrocket. But as we said before, that's 30 to 90 days. So March, March like 14th or something to July 14th, something along that line. But that is a pretty decent timeline there, and it's going to take a little while for that catalyst to settle. But in the meantime, we can get other news, other reports from this, and I'll keep you guys updated on my active positions. The ones I do not take positions in, though, I do not keep you updated on because there's no need for that. I also don't really track penny stocks because with penny stocks, right, I could have bought this thing where we did buy it right here at 11 cents. I think that's actually my entry, and I could have sold it at the top here for 20 cents or something along that line. I personally would have made 50-60% on that, but someone else that watched it a day later could have watched it at got it at 15 cents and are holding it, and you're down right now. I don't know, so that's why I just don't track them, because they're a little bit different. With the SPACs, I do track them. I have a nice spreadsheet for that if you guys ever want to check that out. They're usually in the SPAC videos. But with penny stocks, you never know. They're very timely. That's why I would recommend turning on post notifications if you want these as fast as possible. Also subscribing to myself, and also putting these on your watch list anytime I talk about them. It might not be the best opportunity to buy right when I say it or when I mention it, but if you put it on your watch list, do some more due diligence, maybe eventually it will be. And remember, SNPW, watch out for that March date for the approval. If it does get approved on that date, things will get rolling real fast for us SNPWs, and if you are staying long on the journey. If you enjoyed this, leave a like though, it really helps out, and comment down below. Leave this as the SNPW comment section for any updates. Feel free to comment them down there.